Welcome to Talk Up. I'm your boy Sam the Reaver, and like always, I got my brother with me.
Yo, it's your boy Black. Welcome to Talk Up. You already know it's a platform for the people.
Straight gritty and gutty, coming live from your everyday individuals. You know, we've been away for a minute, man. Man, what's been going on with you, bro? What's been going on?
A lot of shit. COVID for one. But now, man, just coming off of learning more about God, you know what I'm saying? Started fasting a little bit more and introducing the fast and stuff like that. So I would say the biggest thing that I've done recently was fast social media and TV.
Oh, wow.
So I told a couple of people, but for the most part I kept it, to myself. But social media and TV on Sundays and Mondays was a no-go.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Cutting out a lot of media images, cutting out a lot of, social media people images as well, man. Just kind of refocusing what I'm seeing and what's going on and kind of connecting with God a little bit more. So that was pretty much, my highlight of my little off season while I wasn't on, with Talk Up. You know what I mean? It's amazing what you will find out, bro.
And it's funny you said that, because during this little off season for us as well, me and my wife, we found a family of 5 looking to be, they're looking for their 6th child. They're white, of course, and we connected with them, and they're very religious. And just our kids being around them. Now you Sky running around the house talking about, hey, it's raining. God did that. It was too hot outside. Like, she saying little stuff like that, and she questioning little boys in daycare about God and demons and bad guys and stuff, and she very into God. Like, it's this little thing to my parents out there. If you ever get the chance, if you want to get your kids more interested into the book and Jesus and God, it's something on Amazon called Superbook. And it talk about pretty much all the stories that you could find in the Bible, and it give them little characterization of different people in the Bible, and my kids are hooked to it, man. You should definitely give it a try. But with all this stuff going on, what can you say your current state of mind is?
Happy.
Happy?
Happy. The reason why is because it was kind of like refining yourself. Of course you get those moments where you want to go out and do stuff, or you want to live a normal life, but at the end of the day, it put in a lot of things in perspective to me. It helped me kind of slow down time with kind of speeding it up at the same time. Slow down time, I mean, it's I can really look at my life and try to figure out where the holes are, figure out what make my ship sink. You know what I'm saying? And if I want to change my direction, whatever, you know what I mean? And that's the current state of mind I'm in, because if this would never happen, I would continue to run this cycle. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful for that, but I also say speed up time, because we don't know when this shit's gonna hit, or everything's gonna go back to normal. Well, we are semi back to normal because everybody's working, going to school, trying to figure out a way to get adapted back into life.
It's the new normal.
Yeah, so it's starting to speed up very fast. You know what I mean? And so basically, whatever your downtime was, or whatever you was doing in your downtime is now you can actually put it to use. Mm-hmm. So, that's kind of why I say I'm happy, because it's either go after my dreams, or sit back and continue to work for Babylon. The system.
And I would say man, my dream chaotic right now, and I know my parents out there feel the same way, man, with this virtual learning, especially here in Virginia, man. Or I got multiple kids doing virtual learning, and in between employment, work, and dealing with just regular household duties with kids at home. I mean, it's very chaotic. But I also been blessed, when you look at everything that's going on in society, then you look at yourself, like the small picture, everything that you're able to accomplish and achieve, and all the obstacles that you're overcoming every day. I know me personally, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all found some stuff about yourself during these times as well. So I only could be blessed, man. And that's, I learned a new model during this, little coronavirus pandemic, and it's climb and maintain, right? Because everybody got some type of goal that they're trying to achieve, but once they get it, they stop, But the first part of that model is climb, and maintain. It's the second. So once you get something, you still have to climb, but you got to maintain everything that you did prior. And then once you get that next obstacle, guess what you still got to do? Climb.
And that's the thing about it though. Like, it's always easy to climb.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the crazy thing about it.
The hardest is maintaining.
The hardest is maintaining that shit, bro. Like, and I think the only reason why, like, what you're saying is that comfortable mentality, or that comfortable, like, I did this.
Yeah.
And so now that I did this, I'm comfortable. Like, that, I feel like comfortability is like the devil, bro. Like, because you are tiptoeing the line. Like, if people are watching stocks now, like, it's tiptoeing that line where they can go up or down. You know what I mean? And some days you'll go up to $2, or some days you'll be productive as hell. Feel like, oh, I made a little bit of extra change. Cobble that. So that or something else broke down. And then the lifestyle that we live, or the lifestyle that you're living, it becomes hard. It's hard to maintain because we done developed a comfortable living. You know what I mean? Like, at one day you was buying $2 soap, now you buying $10 soap. Yeah. You know what I mean? One day you was buying $1 or 97-cent mouthwash, now you buying $3 mouthwash. You know what I mean? It's because the comfortability, the way we can live our life, and we're bound by it. You know what I'm saying? So maintaining is very hard.
And yeah, I mean, if you adapt that to your everyday livelihood, I mean, I'm not saying I was able to master it, but that's a model I do try to live by, because maintaining, once you maintain, you'll be surprised at where you are in life, or what you can do. Like Tyler Perry, he did say it. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in "climb and maintain" and listen to Tyler Perry speak. He will tell you, like, a lot of people, we just don't know how to maintain.
Hey, look, let me tell you this. I'm not fond of that guy.
Why not?
You're a billionaire. I respect you. But at the end of the day, I feel like he's the startup. Not the startup. You are the inclination of black men putting on female appearances, or doing female antics to gain following. You know, you did it with what's the dude from Wildin' Out there? With Dre. I know his name. I don't have to say it, but like, and you see dudes doing it all the time. Drewski doing it right now. We always do it like that. We're always impersonating a female, bro. And I'm saying, I get it. You can ridicule me and all this other stuff, but it's just like, yo, when can we see a positive black figure who doesn't have to attempt to be something else or sell out the character of himself to actually make it be a fun? Yeah, he's building all these roles. Yes, he's putting everybody on. That's after the fact that you've already put on a girl suit and told her to say it's okay to do this. You know what I'm saying? Or our excuses, well, Tyler Perry put it on. You know what I mean?
Like, I think Money Dude, like, kind of runs that profession. Do you really talk about it? Cause
don't get me started.
Somebody throw you a check.
Do not get me started on that.
If somebody throw you a check,
please don't
and tell your ass to dress up as a girl, nigga, you not doing it.
I'm Dave Chappelle out here, nigga. Stop playing. For real, bro. Mike Epps, Cat Williams, bro. Like,
they throwing out the check for that shit.
But that's the point. A lot of people are looking at it as I can take the check and then do it for other people. But again, this is what's uncomfortable to me. And it goes on to the debate. You know what I mean? It does. What's going on is that you have to pay to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I say you have to pay to play, Like, I don't, like I said, I'm not, homophobic or none of that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to bash gay people, none of that.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at media, if you're selling like a TV show or a movie to Hollywood, it has to have something that represents.
Look what 50 doing now in the new Power,
But it's a lot of. I mean, it's a lot. It's not
a gay scene in that.
Yeah, and it's not. But again, you have to pay to play. You know what I mean? If we have an agenda that we're trying to push, we have people that we have to represent. You're not gonna get this slot unless this happens or you've created. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I said you have to pay to play. You have to pay to play, and that's the root of all evil in this world, because the money is what's doing it. And then on top of that, we're teaching people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're not gonna teach people because people are already that. But it's like, to me, that's why I said with the media images, they're so powerful as far as like kids. You know what I mean? As what they see at a young age. You know what I mean? It's cool if you want to live your lifestyle that way. I have a problem with it when you try to push it to the young minds of the kids who are misguided or directed. You know what I'm saying?
My thing is, you take money out of the picture and you just even the playing field across. What's left?
What's love?
What's left?
If we take money out of it?
Yeah. And equal the playing field straight across. What's left? Nothing. I mean, I don't have an answer, because when I look at it, money is what dictates, like, society. Is what dictates what's popping, what's good, what's not good, what's trending. It dictates everything. As far as to the latest cars, to the latest jewelry, to the newest homes, to the newest technology. Money. Think about it. A new shoe come out, it could be the same as that shoe that came out 2 years ago. It come out, it's at a higher cost. You feel me? Same thing like your new computers. Like, you remember cell phones back in the day? Them shits was cheap. You could get a flip phone for $80.
Hey, them kids was not gonna struggle when you hit the down button and had to click that free shit till they got to the bottom, and then you hit the next, and then that shit a buffer and go to the next. And we looking for ringtones. They don't understand it because everything is so fast.
You remember you had when you was texting?
You
like
the three letters. You was hitting 5. Oh man, and don't tell me you fucked up.
I know.
Oh my god, you gotta hit the 5. Remember when that shit blinked on this shit when you was trying to get the same letter? Oh my god, dog.
Hell no, struggle, dog.
Yo, let me tell you, we have come from some times. You understand? But I will always say we're the guinea pig to this whole world. You know what I'm saying? But as it evolves, you know what I mean, and how it's mastering the minds of people. Because again, if you look at it, the average American, or Black American, I should say, is watching TV. You know what I mean? After they get home from work, they're watching TV. They're watching images, and that's why I was saying,
or social media.
Right. That's why I went on my fast, because it's so fast. Images are coming at us daily. You know what I mean? And it's subliminal messages. Back down to cartoons, we've talked about this, down to cartoons, down to what's it called, commercials, down to basketball. All of these are like images, and that we're processing them. And the people who don't understand or who are not picking up that, you're influenced by it. You know what I mean? By a very big part of whatever your culture is or growing up. So it's tough out here, man.
And I also wanted to ask you this. I wanted to get your feedback on this, because I did saw a poll up not too long ago on social media, and they were talking about which profession, like during this coronavirus pandemic, which profession do you think is most undervalued today?
Undervalued? I feel like if you can go back to his teachers. Teachers, if you really want to look at it, man, teachers have no power.
Some parents will complain, like the teachers don't be doing nothing. Like,
I take it because the thing about it is we have a old curriculum trying to teach to a new generation. You know what I mean? We always talk about it and people throw it around. But, and I'm not talking about finances and learning about it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way kids learn is very old fashioned.
Yeah.
And so, and it's outdated. And so for all this media, you're in the right realm to teach these kids as far as Zoom and all of that stuff, but nobody was preparing for it. You see what I'm saying? And so the teachers who are going to be the most influential, which are the ones who need to be interactive with kids,
Yeah.
they're going to kind of struggle. Now, the ones who can do it via Skype and Zoom, they're going to have to be creative. And I feel like, to me, I don't know how it's set up because, I don't got any kids, but if you're not creating a virtual classroom for these kids, it's going to be a struggle. Because, shoot, I'm thinking about myself. When I get on these Zoom meetings, I'm like, shit, look at that couch. I'm in my robe with the camera off. You know what I'm saying? Or, what's called it, right by my bed, in a fucking tie with a shirt or button-up shirt on, with my drawers on. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, this doesn't. It feels like it is, but it's not because I'm halfway dressed. I'm halfway tired. I just rolled out the bed. Like, these kids is hard for them, and you're telling me that if adults is having a hard time with this, that kids is gonna do this shit. Like, bro, like I said, I feel like they needed to update it. I feel like if they was gonna do anything, they should have really started planning from when the corona hit in June, not in August, and then Zooms don't work. All
none of that shit. Yeah. I'm finna shock the world with this one. You know me.
Go ahead.
Police, man. I think they're some of the most undervalued people today. And I know with everything that's going on now in today's society, it's just like, it's never enough. It's never enough of them. And it's never... I don't think that we will ever find a common ground amongst police officers, and not only police officers, any first responders. Their job is very difficult because you can see how many people are dying or how corrupt this world is. It could be anything. All first responders, I'm talking about your nurses, your doctors, your firemen, your police officers. All of them.
So let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. How comfortable do you feel, or what can you speak about Trump saying that I have got the okay from every police task force in America saying that they are with me in this political fight?
Because I could see why.
Because of
the nation. You got to think what Trump kind of controls.
I want to say, is it fear?
It's not fear, it's what he controls. You got to think about it. The president is the chief of operations, special forces and all that. He made the call for war, he's that guy. So now I'm not saying what the police department is doing is right, because corrupt is corrupt. It's corrupt all over.
Yeah.
But it's just that as a, how can I put this and not sound like a sellout? Because that is something I'm not. As a worker, as somebody who's loyal, committed to what they do, it's only right. You feel me? I can't blame them for saying, our chief of operations, just said, I need y'all support in fighting this battle. What are y'all gonna do? The ones that turn against, they shouldn't be a police officer. You feel me?
I understand.
And then again, it don't make what we're doing in the community also right. Because some of the shit we're doing is wrong. It's a different way. We gotta raise hell. Yeah, we gotta stand up. Yeah, we gotta do all that shit. I'm not one of them people that say protesting is bad. I'm not one of the people against all this Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality movement. I'm not. Breonna Taylor, what them cops did and what they got, what that one officer got charged with, is a slap on the wrist. That's true.
So my question to you, which I understand, and I know you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. You're not for it, and again, you don't want to be against this like a heavy medium. But when it comes down to it, if we look at the mental health state of people who are affected by police, which can be exposure to humiliation,
death,
brutality, abuse, physical, emotional. These are the things that are going on. And so I'm not saying that if you're not standing with it, you're against it. I mean, you can say it, but I'm not gonna say it. It's just that when you have a history, or if you feel like the whole system of the police forces is geared toward those type of actions, or it's countless of attacks or countless, court cases viewed about the same thing, that this is an issue.
A change. One thing I always learn, and this is the only thing I preach when we talk about this matter. And like I said, I'm not for the police. I'm not against, the police in this. But change from within. You gotta have a change from within. Like, we can't speak change and then we're not going out there and helping change it. Like, black people barely vote. And we're talking about, we want all this shit to change. Well, if we're not voting, who's doing the voting? The white people. And what's gonna happen? They gonna keep electing who the fuck they wanna elect to be the puppet of America and make their own rules, make their own laws, get all these bills passed or not passed. I mean, that's one thing. And I am gonna say this: if you do tune in to listen to this, please register to vote, because this year could be, a very important year in our community, in our state of a nation. This is one of the biggest campaigns that we done seen in a while. And, I'm a young buck myself, 29 years of age, but this campaign pretty much dictates what our future, what our nation got left to behold, So please get out there and vote, man.
A lot of people, I'm not going to tell you that stupid shit. You can turn it off, or you can sit there and listen to me. The reason why I say this stupid shit, because I've always been into back and forth debates with a lot of people. Please hear me out. My biggest dilemma about this whole thing is that we have no capital.
Vote still, people.
Understand? You're gonna get two different views. We have no capital in America. Understand that we have no capital in America. So, in order to play hardball in this game, which we all love to play, and we all love to watch
destruction,
power,
destruction.
We all love to watch power,
inflation.
We all love to watch power. And so the thing about power was everybody always had leverage.
You gotta have leverage.
And so this goes back to the argument of what I was talking about, selling, your TV or your movie to Hollywood, and it always being some LGBT associated, because they have had power, or they have some type of capital, or they have people in the right places to push the agenda because they have leverage somewhere. That's what I'm saying to a lot of people about understanding that what black people have to do. Organizations have to be built. Capital has to be earned. A cornerstone and what you can market for leverage of how we can supply a need in America is how we get needs met. And so all of this demise, if we talk about it, the police brutality, like what we're talking about right now, and the systemic racism, that's discipline. You want to know why that's discipline? Is it systemic racism?
Listen.
Because we humiliate you guys. We show you that we can murder you and get off on accounts. We can continue to create mental illness. We can continue to teach hate. We can continue to put you guys against each other. That is the discipline factor of it. And so as long as we have police to continue to control what you guys are doing and let you guys know that, hey, we can come and literally kill you guys and get away with it. And then on top of that, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take the same money that you fuel the economy with. Listen to me. We're going to take the same money that you fuel the economy with, which is what's it called? Not the wealthy people, but suburb people. What we call them?
Suburb.
Oh my God. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. The middle class.
Middle class.
So we're gonna take the middle class, the taxpayer money, and we're gonna give the person who we murdered, that family, that money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my thing is, it goes all the way down to a discipline factor, into this is what's happening, and then it goes down to a structured factor and systemic racism. And this is what I'm telling about with a lot of people, that we have to have capital. We have to have leverage in America for injustice, criminal injustice, and to find justice in America. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people really have to come to understand, about what we need. It's what can we build and what can we leverage. And then we'll have people that stand on the presidency and making our demands met. And if we're not, what do you think Obama? Why do you think Obama didn't almost make the second term? What do you think it was his last thing that he did before he got reelected?
Make sure to change. Make sure to change.
He made same-sex marriage. He signed that bill for same-sex marriage right before he got to the second term. Because what it was they're saying that, hey, if you don't do what you promised, we're gonna take our votes to someone who cares.
And that's why he did it.
But what I'm saying is that people have leverage, and that tells you that we need to have leverage, and for people to actually support us and take us serious, it's a big deal, man. So that's how I feel about the police brutality, about the discipline factor, about policing and brutality, and also this is what I feel about the presidential debate in Black America and what we can do to finally gain respect in America. You know what I'm saying? And so moving forward with that, I feel like once people understand that, we won't be begging for people or trying to vote for people to create change. So I
still think voting is necessary.
Voting is definitely necessary, but we have nothing to leverage. So we're voting for a possibility. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like we can make a difference when it comes to the sheriff, the state people, the mayors, because we directly can go to them. But when it comes to this presidential shit and dealing with foreign affairs, bro, we have no say so, bro. None. We have nothing. We have nothing to trade with the world. You know what I mean? So until we do that, we are just at the mercies of the people who control the monopoly board.
And I do understand what you're saying. I mean, it is a dog eats dog world. It is I mean, for real, it's playing your part. It's playing the part of how.
So what's our part?
What's our part?
Black people, what's our part?
It's build and conquer.
I'm talking about right now. No, but you say that's the agenda.
That's the
what is our part?
Oh, we're working.
We're what?
Working.
Oh, okay. We're working. And so when is that gonna stop? Because it sounds like you ain't want to use that answer.
When we stop working, that's when it's gonna stop. When we stop working. But when can we stop working is the key. Like, I mean, we can't stop working until we build our own and get our own. And first of all, we gotta put people in the positions, because the people that do get to that position to where they're able to look out for others, they rarely do. So that's where the money, that's where the man, that's where all this shit comes back into play. Like, yeah, while you climbing up there, yeah, you might be throwing money here or there. Once you get there,
yeah, here we go.
It stops.
This is where it goes back to, you have to pay to play. I hope people are really understanding that. You have to pay to play. And as long as you pay to play, you either gonna sell out or you're eventually you're not gonna care about. Now, I'm not saying eventually you're not gonna care about. Well, somewhere along the way we get lost in the shuffle of pulling others back up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm like, yo, when are we gonna make our own rules? When are we gonna kind of boss up and do our own thing? And so this is what I'm saying with a lot of people. People have to learn how to, if you want to say, play the game. people have to learn how to play the game. If you're gonna play the game, you're gonna have to play it well though. And when it comes to playing the game, my thing is you have to be able to have that not employee mindset. I'm gonna say you're gonna have to be able to save up or create some type of capital that can help you generate something that you're trying to start and push forward. You see what I'm saying? And again, this goes back to it's hard to maintain because as soon as we up, we gonna do for ourselves. You see what I'm saying?
So how would you describe this millennial race?
Millennial race?
Yes. Us.
I know that. I'm just saying. I think some people are getting it. Some people are doing it. Well, I would say a lot of people are getting it. And a lot of people are doing it. We're just trying to get everybody else on the same accord because some people aren't up to speed yet. Some people are still believing that Caucasians and Asians and Chinese have really created everything. When you know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is you have to start with your history, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't know their history. They believe that this world was literally built on.
So I got something for you then. What is something you wish you learned
When?
as a kid? I mean, growing up.
History. It started, and the crazy thing is, it dates back with the Bible.
What do you mean by that?
The Bible is history. Whether people want to know it or not, it's history. It tells us about people. It tells us about the chosen ones. And when I say the chosen ones, it doesn't mean just black people. You know what I mean? If you're chosen by God to do something or to follow or to, follow a lead or whatever, you got to understand that you have a specific duty, regardless of what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it started with self-discipline, consistency. What's it called? When submission. It starts with all of that stuff. But people want to always throw their antics into it. People lie to them. No, it's not about that. You have to learn history. You have to learn where all of this stuff came from. If all of this stuff came from in the beginning, it started from in the Bible. Then you learn from the Bible. Once you learn from the Bible who you are, then you start to learn as a people where you come from. Once you start learning where you come from and who you are, then you can find out exactly where you're going. Like they always say, the past. If you really want to look at it, if you go back and find out where Caucasian people started, they started in England.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you know LLCs and corporations were started in England and they were brought to America? The first corporation and the first LLC was maybe a doctor, a lawyer, a voyager, someone over there in England, and they all were together, and that's how they formed it, and that's how they separated from England. You know what I mean? They saw what was built in England, they brought it here to America, and that's how they split, and that's how the first war started. So, understanding that LLCs and corporations come from back in the day, and how they came, and that's why what do you think Rockefeller was? What do you think all of those people who had the railroads and all that stuff, why Monopoly was created? They were controlling the whole board, and they were corporations and LLCs, and they were running the government. So now, when we build the train, we're exporting oil, coal, gold, and we get paid top dollar for that. And nobody can take nothing from it because you want to know why? It's a business. So businesses have been here from the beginning. And so when people are telling their kids that, or they're understanding how the world works, if you don't know history, then again, you'll be lost. You know what I mean? In anything. Right now, like, where does radio start? Or where does, your corporation start? Like, when you go to a orientation for a business, where they start at? We started back in the 60s. We've been doing this, and they tell you the history of it. And you being there like, man, fuck this shit. Right. Yeah. But that tells you how big this shit is. And that's why I say, if you understand who you are, you gotta go back to the origin.
Damn, man, damn. The way I'm gonna describe millennials, man, I'm gonna say fool's play. And the reason why I'm gonna say fool's play is because I feel like we're the test dummies, man.
Of course.
I feel like we're the test dummies to everything. Like even like I mean, when it comes to viruses, medicines, when it comes to the technology, when it comes to life experiences, I think the millennials are the test dummies of this, and literally, I think we're the biggest experiment that exists. You know.
Why you say that?
The biggest experiment. I mean, you think about all these health theories. When you think about all these social, like social resistance, like all these theories and stuff that comes to that, man. I don't know what they did to our parents, bro. I don't know. They put some chips, gave us some pills. I don't know if that chicken pox shot was really a shot. I don't know what it was.
No question that.
My kids ain't got that shot yet. You know?
Chill with that.
Like, for real, bro. I don't know what they did to us, but they did something. And they, like, literally, yeah, they fucked up this. I mean, for real, I think it's just full play, man. And no matter how hard we try to separate from it, I mean, it's a lot of history that you gotta dig up on it. It's a lot of history you gotta dig up on it.
But that's what I'm saying. But when is it gonna start? Like, and again, man, I don't want to be such a, black is, and all this stuff like that. I'm just saying, as people, bro, like, if you gonna move, you gotta understand where you going, who you are, like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we just lack that, and that's why I said it goes back to all of this stuff and the systemic racism.
Yeah.
But systemic racism is from how it's from a system, discipline, interpersonal, which is relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's in all of those. Because again, they're telling us you can only make it if you rub elbows with certain people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you rub elbows with your own kind, then you're not going to be as successful as you want to be. But all they going to do is really just take anything how it's always been. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I said it's tough. But I feel like people are waking up daily. They're starting to understand the concern. Everybody on my Facebook was really talking about the debate. And it shows, like, okay, people are really starting to become, not obsessed, but people are starting to become aware of how much power we can have in America. But I feel like it's only going to come unless we have leverage and capital to be able to force their hand and actually vote someone who's going to do it. And if they're not going to do it, we're going to say, hey, we're taking the black vote and we vote for somebody else. Real shit, bro.
So look. Here go a question out of nowhere, right? If you were guaranteed a correct answer to one question, what would you ask?
Did your ass steal everything from the black community? I just want to see people's face, bro. Like, did you switch around religion for your own demise or for your own structure or for your own belief? I'm gonna ask the obvious question.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because that's gonna always tell me that it's always an agenda.
It's always been a plan.
You see what I'm saying? And once people reveal that, because some people are just naive to the whole thing.
Yeah.
There you go. And really, honestly, and one more question, because I know you told me one, but one more question is, do you want to see black people thrive in America? Seriously, like,
my question would be, I mean, I'm gonna stick to that religion question, that I feel like that's something that is very, like, big in our nation, religion, and the black, white Jesus, the people he talking about that was enslaved, coming back to get all that. Like, I mean, was that written just because, or did y'all create religion? Like, I mean, is that something y'all man-made? That whole book, I have questions about that. I don't know if I'm reading a book and somebody just wrote this shit, a fantasy world. It's kind of fucked up. But that's the question I will ask you too.
And like I said, I think you have a question a lot of people have. But the thing about it is, if it wasn't true, why do other people go off on their own tangents.
Because of fantasy.
No, honestly, what I'm saying,
Some
why
people have these.
Why do other people go on the other tangents, or they find other ways to practice religion or practice their whatever their beliefs are? Why? And it's in the Bible. People praise. Huh?
All praise.
No, yeah, praise. Golden calves. People praise. Spirits. Some people practice magic and sorcery. You know what I'm saying? And they all give them some type of fulfillment. But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and say that is this what it means until people understand that it's not something that you read. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
They give you teachings from other people's history of what happened in their demise. But my thing is, what it is people don't study the beliefs for one, the behaviors, what they're supposed to do, like fasting. A lot of people don't know you're supposed to fast. What are we supposed to fast? What is fasting?
I've been fasting. I didn't even know I fast. Nigga. I ain't been on social media in a minute.
But I'm just saying, you can't. My thing is, if you do something without actually acknowledging it, it doesn't count. Because then, right now you're doing it off of free will. Not free will, but you're doing it, unconsciously, so you're not going to be attacked. Yeah. But if you're doing it for a purpose, now you have that restraint factor, and now somebody's going to actually challenge your faith on it. Like, hey,
so look, I'm gonna fast from cigarettes.
I guarantee. I'm
gonna fast for it.
Yeah, I believe it.
What I gotta do though? What I gotta do?
That's the funny thing. I believe it.
How long?
Huh?
How long I gotta do it?
Depends, because a lot of people.
I like that Sunday Monday shit.
That's what I'm saying.
I can do that like 3 days out of the week. I can fast for that.
And that's what I'm saying to you. Right? I was doing Sunday Monday for a month. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think that you gotta do it 7 days. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Like you do. I did it for 7 days. 7 days on 6 days. So 3 weeks, 2 days, 2, 4, 6. Yeah. Then this past week was 7 on Sunday. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of messed up. I had a feast without knowing I had a feast. But I didn't, of course I prayed over food and all of that other stuff, but to me, it kind of slipped my mind. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
you just was hungry.
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying to you. You gotta learn how to complete everything. You know what I mean? And then, honestly, when you're being challenged, you gotta pray. When you forget, because you can't tell. I definitely forgot some days. Like it was just like a natural action. Took social media. I started scrolling for a second and be like, shit! And I'd be like, alright, cool, let me get off. You know what I'm saying? Until, literally the third day, it was like I didn't miss it. You see what I'm saying? But people have to understand, if you're going to practice something, you're going to have to learn and then be able to apply it for yourself. That's when the blessings come. Like right now, you can say, I want a podcast, right? And you can go and do a podcast, right? Yeah. But if you don't put the work in to research, to do all of that, how are you gonna get blessed from it? You think somebody's gonna walk across that?
Like, oh shit, here you go.
You have to do your part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just say, and this is where believers and non-believers get stuck at. They believe one day and then they don't believe the next. So it stops them from going forward.
They felt like they did something that is worthy or deserving of a blessing, and they stop.
There you go. When the Lord don't come through, nigga, you're breathing. You know what I mean?
That's a blessing right there.
And it's just like this, and I put it to you in the terms like this: if somebody committed a murder right now, just because they didn't get locked up tomorrow or the end of the week, doesn't mean that they ain't gonna find your ass 10 years
from now,
5 years from now.
I'll be watching that crime line.
But that's what I'm saying with people. Like, you can't say, "Oh, well, God did this, I deserve this." Nigga, you're breathing. Yeah. You get to go see your mama. You get to walk. You get to speak. You don't got COVID. I don't owe you shit but the life that you had. And that's where it comes with submission. You gotta be grateful. You know what I mean? For a lot of shit. Because in a blink of an eye, bro, all this shit can be gone.
And I know we're running out of time. Apple podcast listeners and stuff, thank y'all for tuning in. Sorry we've been away for a minute, but it's Talk Up. We got a lot more coming for you. Stay tuned.